don't click. So I'm like, is there something that's not clicking here? I may discover it again. You may tell me something today and it may not click until next month. But
and listen, that's a part of trading. Like people think this thing is so easy because they look at Instagram, they look at YouTube, and nobody gives it the real. Hey, it takes time. Do you have to blow up your account? No. Do you have to lose a lot of money? No. But it will take time for it to click, and you can earn as you learn. All right, let me see if I can show my screen. Let me know when you can see my screen. All right. Cool. Can you see it?
Yep.
What do you see?
I see 5 minute on SPY.
Okay, great. All right, great. So let's do this.
Okay.
This is going to be an exercise. Let's see here. What are we talking about? Risk to, all right, I know what we're doing. Okay. Give me a second.
Take your time.
All right, got you. All right. So let's give it a title here so we can go. Let me get this out of here. Delete that. And let me go here and here. Okay. All right. So I'm notorious for fat fingering. So let me know if this is correct here. All right. So we're going to talk about risk to reward. And we're going to talk about, we'll put this at the top, bada bing. We're going to talk about improving risk to reward, stops, and take profit targets. Correct?
Perfect.
All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a secret.
Okay.
All right. And give you a secret tip to how to improve your risk to reward areas, your stops and your take profit areas, to know when you should let the trade breathe and work itself out, or this trade is dancing. It's time for me to just nope, or this thing has broken down. It's not the same trade. It has changed. I need to be out and accept the loss. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to do, and I know you know this, but we got to go back to it. Volume is the big daddy of them all. That's number one. So the first thing I'm going to do, period, is I need to understand the context of volume. Meaning, am I trading the morning session, midday session, afternoon session? Do I have sufficient volume? Is there anything else that can impact the volume? In addition to that, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to consider market sentiment. What does the day look like? What's going on today? You know, market moving indications or news or anything like that. Let me go check the bonds, etc. Everything we talk about that drives the market that you've taken in training to for market internals, that is what we're going to that's what I'm looking at there. Okay. Got it so far?
Got it.
All right, cool. So we'll wait for that one to jump to load. All right. So first volume, what's the volume looking like? Now, why is this going to help me? Well, here's why. Let's say I have a take profit target. Let's say I have a take profit target down here at 400. All right. And I'm in a trade maybe here at 402. So let's draw some lines here. Let's say I'm in a take profit. My take profit is right here. I got into my trade right here. Okay. And this thing is, I went into profit, but it's dancing, or maybe in this area, and then it comes back and I'm nervous. Maybe it's negative right here. You're like, oh, okay, what's going to happen? And the day is chippy. What's going on? All right. So you know what I would do? I would first look at volume, right? I would say, all right, and we've discussed this before, but it's going to take you guys some time to really get this idea and get this concept. Just read the volume. What are we getting? We're getting pops and drop, pop, drop, pop, drop, pop, drop. So just look at it from a mechanical standpoint. Do you see any type of pattern or something kind of standing out to you? Pop, low, low, high, low, low, high, low, low, high, low, low, pop, low, low, Pop, do you see this behavior here?
Yeah.
Now, again, I'm not a pattern trader, but what we can gather from the way the volume is chipping is that we're getting small increases or small bursts of buy volume. See it? Buy, buy, buy. And we're getting some sellers in here. But each time that the buyers step in, right, they may outweigh the sellers. Is the stock moving up or down?
Down.
Still going down. So this tells me, at least for the morning session, we are headed somewhere. And it doesn't matter what happens, we're getting there. Now, we're getting there chippy. Whether or not I get a good entry, that's on me. Whether or not I want to hold, that's on me. We're heading somewhere. We're not going to all of a sudden reverse because we've had multiple chances for buyers to step in, and they have not been able to push this thing up. Do you see that so far?
Yes.
So that tells me, even if I got a poor entry in this area right about here, even if I got a poor entry anywhere up in there, this tells me I'd be okay to hold. All right. I'd be okay to hold. Okay. The second thing I'm going to consider, as we discussed, is market sentiment. I already understand it's a shorter week this week. Markets were closed yesterday. Geopolitical news. I read the information. I went on the weekly prep with KD. We talked about that earlier. So, you know, that's pretty straightforward. Everyone knows that was inside the private channel. And then my assistant posted it earlier today, 2/21/2023. This is our weekly prep here. That's pretty clear. And we understand, all right, you know, there are some geopolitical tensions with Russia. All kind of stuff is aiding this low volume kind of drip down. All right. After I do that, now I'm going to take these off. Delete, delete, delete. And what I'm going to do is I am going to look for my areas of interest. Look for my areas of interest. So let's do it. Let's do it. Would you say the fact that the market held multiple times here, would you say there's possibly volume here?
Yes.
Now, I want you to think deeply. You might not remember. Think back to training 4 and 4.5. This training right here. Remember what we talked about? Reading the tape, advanced strategies, hidden levels. Remember we talked about all that? And we talked about a time where the market was heading toward a target area. We could view some collars or hedging areas. And we said that when you have that kind of a pocket of volume, that two things are going to happen the next day. You're going to get a rush of volume to get past these areas, right? You've heard me say that. Or you're going to need to gap around it. Okay. And we proved that by looking at the levels back in February when we talked about those areas in the tape. So I'm going to use the same analogy here. All right. And if we do release this later, then many people in the Discord are going to know immediately what I'm talking about because some of them have just taken the training. So if I have a clear level of support right here, this tells me that there is something holding the market up here, whether it's volume and represented by orders, volume represented by some type of collar hedging, doesn't matter. There's something there. To get around this, you need a rush of volume. You need this to just push through it, right? Rush of volume, or you will need to gap. So here we go Friday, then today we gap. Boom, we come underneath this area. So I am going to identify this immediately as an area of interest. All right? So that's number one. That's an area of interest to me. Then that's my first one. Just looking at the day, right? Of course, these areas of interest, they work in harmony with your levels, and they work in harmony with the volume levels, right? So think of it like, multiple things that can give you confidence to enter the trade. All right. So that's number one. All right. After that, I'm going to now pay attention to, so we'll go with 3. I identify the areas of interest. Then I want to pay attention to price action, specifically off of my areas of interest. All right. Now, again, we're doing this with a blank screen with no levels to prove a point. When you do have your levels there, it adds immense confidence and extra confluence. Okay. So now you're letting this thing chip around, right? It's dancing. You're watching, and it breaks down and it retests this area right there. So I am going to now come over here. I'm going to now come over here, and I am going to highlight, now that it's retested that, I'm going to highlight a small area of interest right there. Just a small one. There's some price action there that I like to see, just a little bit. I see it's holding here, right? Couple times. I'm going to highlight this area right here. I'm going to say, all right, there's some volume there, right? Then I'm going to go back to my checklist. What does the volume look like? We're chipping. There's bursts of buy volume, but we're not going up still. Okay. We're holding at this area. Market sentiment. I think the market is still looking weak. Areas of interest. I marked one. Price action. The price action just rejected off of this previous area here. Therefore, I have good reason to believe we're going to go down here. All right. So you continue to do that as you chip around. You can look for and identify your areas of interest. All right. Now the question is, all right, let's say, for example, in your discussion on asking for help on when to cut it, let's say you wanted to go for a hold for a call here, right? You wanted to counter trend trade today, which is not the day to do it, but you did. And you're looking to take profit here, right? Looking to take profit here.
Yeah.
Well, what I would do, again, I would identify, you've got key levels. I'd identify the price action in the areas of interest in between there, right? So you can clearly see that as we come down here to this area, there is obviously some liquidity sitting right here. Even if we were to look at this before we got there, we already expect something right about there. See that? We expect something in this area. We do. So as we expect something in this area, I know that I'm counter trend trading. I have already considered market sentiment. And so because of that, now this would be an area, if we didn't make it up here, then I would have to cut this trade.
Yeah.
Now, let's say this thing continued to break down and you just caught a bad trade. It would have to make it out of my area of interest for me to hold that thing a little bit longer. So for example, let's take the same example. And let's say that you said, I'm going to take a call, and you went into a call right here, right? And we're dancing, and you got faked out on these two little candles right there, right? Once this call breaks down past my area of interest right here, I am out of the trade.
Would you want it to break and close, or when it breaks?
Yes, you could. In a day like today, this is not a good example today because you should not be counter trend trading today. However, I do want it to close. And at this point right here, with such aggression, I would be out. Yeah. So typically I like it to close. I wouldn't wait for this one to close to here. But for example, you got to, again, let's go back to we got to really break this down. Now think this thing through. You got into a call right there. You're like, okay, this is going to double bottom here, or whatever the pattern traders call it. All right. And we're likely going to hold here. Volume is weak. You see a lot of buy or sell volume in this area. Which one?
Sell.
Sell volume. So that's going against you. Market sentiment, we're going down. That's going against you. Area of interest, you're inside of it. That's going against you. Price action, let's read it. What do these two candles here tell you about pressure? Is it coming from the bottom or the top?
Top.
So is that top-down pressure, as I say many times?
Yep, lots of selling.
So you have, think about it, you got to really just not be shell-shocked. You can't be frozen. You got to just make a checklist to get out of the trade as well. Yeah. Right? So, for example, we talked about this in our Mindset Mondays, or no. I talked about this in the back pocket knowledge that I just dropped. I think you do well to listen to it. Before you learn how to win, you must learn how to lose.
Yeah, said that today. You talked about that today, or mentioned it today. Yeah. And I literally said, oh my gosh, I thought I just figured it out. And I think one of the biggest things that I'm going through right now with this, that I'm trying to conquer, is how to lose and how to properly lose and execute. All
right, so this is how I lose, okay? Is it true you see me take at least 3 losses in a week?
Yeah.
Okay, so my frequency, since you guys have been in Discord, it really hasn't changed. I mean, you tell me, right? It's pretty much
Very
out of
consistent.
30, 35 trades, KD is coming in between that 3 and that 5 point for losses, right? He's going to take about 3 to 5, 3, 4 losses. It is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. So I plan for those. I plan for it, right? For example, there's no way. The first thing I would do, and this is a bonus here. We'll do bonus. We'll just do bonus. All right. Let's see here. So when I'm in a situation like the day is just chippy and nasty, there's no way I'm putting a lot of risk out here anyway.
Yeah.
So I would reduce my risk amount here anyway. That's the first thing. But I mean, that's like a bonus extra. Like I'm okay with coming out of the market today with 5K or 10K or 3K, whatever it is, something smaller, right? You've seen me crush the market in larger numbers. So you're not dying for capital. You are really just trying to execute proper trades. All right. So when you get in a situation like this, you really have to just have an exit strategy. So my exit strategy is this: 1, I'm going to read the volume. 2, I understand market sentiment. 3, I have actually plotted areas of interest on the screen. And then 4, I am reading the price action. And if I don't like what the price action is telling me, I know I'm in the wrong side of the trade. And I just get out of the trade, and my exit would be tied to my levels and my risk.